Okay, y'all. So, those of you who know me personally know that some years ago I had fibroids and had fibroid surgery, and that after having the surgery, the fibroids came back. If you have ever dealt with fibroids, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, at some point last year, I started having severe pain. And I was just like, I have to find something. I have to resolve this issue. And so, long story short, I created a tincture that is available on my website at www.consciouscreations.live. And it is a chickweed and violet alcohol-based tincture called If You End Cysts. And so this is what it looks like. Okay. So it's a chickweed and violet tincture. And now let me tell you something, y'all. I started using this. I made this particular batch because we create in small batches, and I'm going to tell you why in just a second. But this batch was created April 12th and then harvested on April. No, I'm sorry. It was harvested and jarred on between April 12th and April 13th of 2025. There are only 19 that are available. And the reason being, and this is why we create in small batches, is because the flowers that are in here, the violet flowers, they only grow for, at least in Maryland where I am, they only grow for about 5 to 6 weeks from March until April, right? So they don't grow for a long time, but they are a very, very powerful herbal tool for your arsenal. So the thing about violet flowers that I particularly needed was it is what is called an antipyretic, right? And if you think about the word pyro, we're talking fire. And so what can happen is if you deal with any sort of chronic inflammation where your gut is inflamed and your tissues are inflamed, you know that creates a lot of dis-ease in the body, right? And so for me, what that looked like is digestive issues. So feeling like my stomach and my gut is on fire, right? And so that's an issue with being able to alchemize the gut biome in such a way as to be in balance and in harmony internally, right? So what it feels like and felt like is an internal war within yourself and within your cells, and there's this constant fire, right? And so what an antipyretic does is it reduces that inflammation, it reduces that fire in order for you to be able to process, right? To process from a balanced place as opposed to a chronically inflamed place. Now, the reason you don't want to process from why you want to be in balance and not chronically inflamed is because it distorts perception, right? And so think about it. If you were in a situation where you were always a particular way, right, and never able to come into balance to see everything clearly, you would only be able to see from that particular perspective, and it would be a distorted perspective because it's always a matter of degrees. And so when you're able to like think about it, the difference between 32 degrees, which is freezing, and 33 degrees or 34 degrees or 70 degrees, right, is a matter of degrees. And so if you go in one direction, it's too cold. And if you go in the other direction, it's too hot. And those of you who are in summertime right now, who are dealing with high heat, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? And so what you want to do is to be able to balance and harmonize what's happening with you internally. And part of the ways that you can do that is with things like if you insist, particularly if that inflammation has led to the development of cysts or tumors or things like that within your body. Because violet is known as a cyst dissolver. And those cysts they're usually like these liquid or pus-filled nodules that you will feel, that you may feel under your skin, and you may feel them particularly in the lymphatic areas, which are like under your arms, behind your knees, behind your neck. You get what I'm saying? and also in your groin area. So these are places where the lymphatic fluids within your body, if they're not properly flushed out, they accumulate here, and they act to block up the lymphatic system, meaning that the toxins from your lymph nodes can't properly flush out of the body. And then once that happens, it starts to formulate and sort of build a little community in your tissues around that particular place. And so when you have something like a violet flower, it goes in and it's able to kind of quell that flame within you. And I trust that that makes sense. Now, the other thing that it has is chickweed. And the reason we added chickweed in it is because chickweed requires nitrogen-rich soil in order for it to thrive. And so, like, think about it this way, right? So if you think about, and this is actually a root of a sunflower that that I pulled up. So this is the root of the sunflower. And as you see, if you look at, if you look at the little dendrites right here, then this is the root, but it's also part of the nervous system of the plant, the same way it works with you, right? And so what happens is the same way that the chickweed is going to need the nitrogen, it's going to absorb the nitrogen from the soil into its roots, because all plants and plant-based beings, including you, right, are going to need potassium. Potassium, nitrogen, and there's a third one. Phosphorus. I always forget phosphorus, y'all. Potassium, nitrogen, and phosphorus. All plants are going to need that in order to thrive. The issue is most people in their I call them livets, right? Most people are operating from a diet versus a livet, right? And the reason I say that way is because it's important that the things that we need for our cells to actually live and to thrive, we're actually receiving them by way of the information that we're receiving from our food. And so chickweed actually goes in and it actually acts to protect the cells and to rebuild the damaged cells and rebuild the damaged tissue. So as the violet is actually dissolving the cysts and acting as a neuroprotective and protecting the neurons, then the chickweed is coming in and it's helping to bring that richness, right? That internal richness in your soil that you need, that's going to actually help you to thrive. And in the meantime, it's going to help to restore and rebalance and replenish those cells that have taken damage. And so I am just grateful to say that my recent menstrual cycle did not include the severe pain that I had been having for at least the last 8 months. And, if y'all know me personally, right? So, but anyway, I say that to say, if you are out there and you are dealing with cysts or growths and things like that in your body, I'm just telling you, this is something that works for me. Do your research on violet, do your research on chickweed, do your research, okay? But if you want to order, if you end cysts, go to www.consciouscreations.live. Again, y'all, it's only 19 because that's all that I could actually gather from what was available to me in order to harvest. So, I look forward to creating for you all. And until next time, make sure that you are loving yourself well, because you deserve it.